A few roster moves took place in Kansas City after the rookie camp this weekend. Also, NFL schedules have been leaked. How will the Chiefs do? We're going to talk about it.
Chiefs Kingdom. It's time for All Chiefed Up with your hosts, Steve and Mike Williams. From the Bluegrass to the Red Sea, this is the Kingdoms Podcast.
Happy Friday morning, Chiefs Kingdom. This is All Chiefed Up. This is Mike Williams with my co-host Steve Williams. Say hey.
Don't tell me my fish is devil, woman. Call the fire department. This one's out of control.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah, so we have a little bit of stuff to talk about today. We got as Steve alluded to in the intro, we got a little bit of mini camp stuff to talk about, some roster moves, some signings, some cuts. We're also going to look at the roster. We're going to try to do our predictions as to how many games we win and lose. So, yeah, we'll just jump right into it. Let's talk about some mini camp cuts, Steve. Looks like that first we'll do the signings. They signed Virginia offensive lineman Chris Glaser. They signed back a familiar name in Austin Reeder to play center, and wide receiver Gary Jennings. What do you think about those moves?
Nothing intrigues me. I mean, I kind of knew when they cut Ryder they were going to sign him right back, probably. But yeah, nothing out of the ordinary. Probably just some camp bodies and things like that. So, who did they end up cutting after rookie weekend?
Yeah, so they cut. Let's see, quarterback Anthony Gordon, which we kind of thought they would, considering they did bring in the who was the kid they brought in just right after the UDFAs?
Dustin Croom,
yes. So, yeah, we kind of thought with him coming in, Gordon would probably kind of get the axe, and he did.
Yeah, but Peter Sweeney was actually on there talking very highly of Gordon, talking about how he looked really good and smart and had some Patrick Mahomes-esque throws in the camp. So he was high on him. So yeah, I guess he was the only one.
Yeah, maybe they'll bring him back at some point. They also cut Brendan Knox, running back, Gene Pryor, offensive tackle, and defensive tackle Darius Stills. So not a lot of movement from camp either way, from signings or cuts. I kind of thought there'd be a little bit more action, but
right. I mean, I knew Darius Stills was probably not going to last. I even discussed that in an article on allchievedup.com, how we kind of are missing a second defensive tackle that's really effective and could really change the game. Darius Stills, I think he was an undrafted free agent. The Raiders signed him, and he still, to this day, had not played in an NFL game. So I kind of knew he wasn't going to stick around. So I guess they're rolling right now with just, is it Taylor Stallworth? And then, of course, the guys that we got back this year. So still a little bit of a hole there. I'm kind of wondering what they're going to do with that.
Yeah, and then with Knox, you kind of know, like with Pacheco getting the 4-year deal coming in, there's a lot of hype around Pacheco so far this year already, which we kind of said by the time camp comes around in July, I think we're going to hear that name popping up a lot. So I think I don't know if there's going to be too many more movements with the running backs and the wide receivers. I think we've got everybody on the roster we're kind of set with, and you're just going to see some cuts here and there, and they're going to dwindle it down to what they want to get it to,
So I'm kind of wondering how the running back room is going to look when it's all said and done, because I know we have quite a few on the roster at the moment. We still have, of course, CEH, Derek Gore, also Rojo. And then, of course, we have Pacheco, and we actually had Jerry and Ely in from undrafted free agents. There might be another one. I can't remember for sure, but just out of those 5, do you think they're going to keep a room of 4? And if you do you think it's going to be Jerry and Ely that sees the door, or how do you think they're going to go about that?
Yeah, I think obviously you're keeping Rojo. You just paid him. You're obviously keeping Clyde. You drafted him. He's the number 1. I think him and Rojo is going to see the majority of the work. I do think Pacheco will work himself in, as he may even take Derek Gore's spot. He may take the 3, and Gore may slide down to the 4. You may see Gore even maybe get moved back to the practice squad. Ely, I don't know if he'll make the team or not. He's going to have to do a lot from the receiver role and strictly from the special teams role to make an impact, I believe, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's where he's going to shine at anyway, probably in the return game. So I don't know.
Pacheco was taking some return snaps the other day, I believe. So
Yeah,
He's fast
there
enough.
might not be room for all of them. There might not be room for all of them. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so not a whole lot going on with the roster. We'll keep up more with that in the future as things change. But right now, nothing major, just kind of the same stuff. But they did release some of the schedules for. They haven't technically released the schedules yet, but we know which teams that we're going to play. Not necessarily what week or whatever, but we do know what they are. Mike, if you have a list of those, let's just start talking about that right now, and we'll see if maybe we can come up with a way too early prediction on how the Chiefs are going to finish the season.
Okay, well, we'll divide them up into home games, away games. So we'll talk about visiting Arrowhead. So teams coming in, so our home games. The first one on the list is Buffalo. Buffalo Bills will come in to play Kansas City in Arrowhead. So what do you think of that matchup right there?
I think Buffalo is going to be gunning for our jugular because they are just so tired of being little brother. I mean, even their fans are starting to get irritated with Chiefs fans just because they're tired of losing to the Chiefs, you know. And I feel like they've built that whole franchise. Like if you look at the roster that they have and the people that they've paid, they've literally built it just to try to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think they're going to come in balls to the wall, trying to take us out in our home field. You know, that's what I think is going to happen. Do the Chiefs drop it? It just kind of depends on how early it is in the season when the game takes place because our defense, it's full of young talent. I think it's a solid defense, but you guys do have to realize that they are young. They have not played together, and you're going to have to be patient with this defense. It could take 5-6 weeks before they start to gel, maybe longer. I mean, believe it or not. So it really just depends on where that one's at in the season. If it's early on, I'd give the edge to Buffalo. If it's later in the season, I'll go ahead and say Kansas City wins that one.
Yeah, it's for me, that's like a double-edged sword because Buffalo actually coming in early in the season, maybe they're not gelled as good as they should be. And maybe late they are, playing at a higher thing. But then with us as well, with a lot of rookies on the defense, you can say the same about us. There's a lot of people thinking the Chiefs are going to start off like super rough this year, like almost as bad as we did last year. I don't know if I see it. I think that Andy and them is going to have a different look and a new game plan. And I don't think it's going to be I just don't think we're as bad as some teams are thinking we're going to be. So, but for this purpose, I'm kind of with you. I think I'll go ahead. I'll give the early notch here to Buffalo. I'll give Buffalo the W right here because if we play them again in the playoffs, I see us beating them in the playoffs because it's late in the year. We will have gelled. But since we don't know when this game is, I'll go ahead and give the slight advantage to Buffalo because they have less pieces. They're trying to come in and gel together compared to us.
Right. Buffalo's got a lot more players back this year. So I think, and like I said, they're going to be playing like it's their Super Bowl because they're so just frustrated
Right.
with everything. So,
okay. So next up on the list, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it looks like we should get back in the win column there. That shouldn't be a problem at home.
right. So, of course, these games are not in any particular order, but I think no matter what time of the year we play Jacksonville, that should be a W. I mean, they do have a lot of talent. I mean, they get to draft 3 people in the first round every year, so they should have a Pro Bowl team by now, but they're just not that good of a franchise that knows how to build anything. So it's a little up and down. They could be decent. They might be complete trash as usual. You just never really know, but I do think Kansas City gets a W in that game.
Yeah, I think that's a W for the Chiefs. So moving on, let's see. Let's take not the division games first. So we'll do the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams will be coming into Arrowhead. What do you think of that one? That's a tough one again.
Yes, but no, I kind of feel pretty confident that we could beat the Rams. It just really depends on the pace of the game. If they tried to get their running game going and just, keep our defense on the field with a younger, more inexperienced defense, yeah, they could beat us, but I don't think it would be any type of blowout on the Rams side of things. I think if they win, it would be a close game. I'm going to go ahead and give the nod to the Chiefs in this one. Actually, I think maybe the Rams come back with a little bit of that Super Bowl hangover and they're not playing at a high level. But I mean, you never know. With the group of guys they got on defense there, it just really depends.
Yeah. So my take is with us playing the Rams, that is going to be flexed to some kind of, Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night. That's going to be a primetime game.
Right.
And the NFL likes to screw Kansas City over in those primetime games. And if I'm not mistaken, the last time we played that big shootout game against the Rams, dude, we just bad call after bad call because it was on prime time. And so I think if it's anywhere close, which I believe it's going to be a close game, I think the officials will, I think they'll get in it and get involved. And I don't think they let the Rams lose to the Chiefs on prime time. I just don't see the NFL letting that happen. So I would actually give the Chiefs a loss here, but you give them a win. So what do you want to do to get this going?
I think we flip a coin. You got something to flip? Let's just flip it old school style. How about that?
Okay, let me I've got a guitar pick. Will that work?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me put a little W on one side for the win. And if it hits the other side, we'll go loss. So let me flip it up. We'll see what happens. Here we go. It's a W. So we'll give it to the
Oh,
Chiefs. So we will count
Chiefs.
the Rams as a dub. Okay, moving on. We've got the Seattle Seahawks coming into Arrowhead. And with Drew Lock as their possible starting quarterback, and with a lot of stuff going on within that franchise, they're in a rebuild mode. I would probably have to give the early nod to the Chiefs here.
Right. Seattle, they did have a good draft, and I think they're trying to rebuild things there, but they have not done anything to address their quarterback position. Right now, they're looking at Geno or Drew Lock, and I mean, you're not going to win games like that. And if they're not going to address that, then they're just going to take a L. So I'm going to give
And
that to KC.
these are all home games. This is Arrowhead. It's tough to beat, the
Right.
Chiefs and Arrowhead. So moving on, the last one that is not a divisional game is the Tennessee Titans. And me and you went to that game last year in Tennessee, and my God, did we get monkey stomped right in the middle of Nashville.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
their fans were just giving us hell. It
It's
was
crazy too,
horrible.
because Titans fans are actually pretty cool and pretty easy to get along with for the most part. But they took their opportunity, and I don't blame them because the Chiefs went there and played like complete garbage. And we've been kind of a thorn in their side for a little while. And when we go and the Chiefs win, we razz a little bit and have some fun. So we took it on the chin. We listened to the Tyreek Hill beats children jokes and all that good stuff, and we went on about our
Yeah.
business. But we did get harassed all the way on the 1 mile walk back to our car. There was even little kids on the side of the road just making fun of us. It was great. So this year though, in
I think
Kansas
I
City.
think we get the revenge.
Oh, for sure. I don't see Tennessee improving this year. I think they are actually going to take a step back. I think they already got a little bit of locker room turmoil going on with Tannehill being a jerk and talking about how you don't want to mentor anybody or you don't want to help anybody. And then also AJ Brown's gone. They did get Traylon Burks, who's basically a mini AJ Brown, but he is also a rookie. So we got to get him. They're going to have to get him into the system and get him rolling as well. Uh, Derrick Henry, love Derrick Henry. Think he's the best back in the league by far. He's an absolute monster. But Derrick Henry has got to hit a peak at some point, guys. And I mean, last year kind of showed he's not invincible. He had that injury. He didn't come back all that well off of it when he came back in the playoffs. So maybe, just maybe, this could be the year that Derrick Henry slows down a little bit, kind of not as big of a fall off as say Christian McCaffrey, where he just fell off the face of the planet and couldn't stay healthy. But maybe he does take a step back. They've got to quit pounding the ball to him that much, or he's going to be useless. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a different look in Tennessee. And I think the Chiefs are going to get revenge this year. I think they'll win that one pretty easily.
Yeah, I think Tennessee has kind of put themselves in a lose-lose scenario. Whereas you trade AJ Brown, who's obviously your biggest and best target, you can't let all of your offense go through a rookie. I mean, kind of Cincinnati did it with Jamar Chase, but let's be honest, like Jamar Chase, he got his yards, but he wasn't the reason they won every week in and week out. The Titans don't have a perfect defense. Like they give up a lot of points. I think their passing defense was trash last year. And as you said, I think Derrick Henry, for a back his size, he takes a lot of hits. He's got some tread on his tires, and when you take away your number one passing option and you have Tannehill to fall back on, if you don't have the running game, what do you fall back on? So I'm with you. I think the Titans fall back a little bit. So we'll put that in the win column.
Right.
And
And
so
just,
now it's just, it's the three AFC West teams.
okay, cool. So the AFC West is going to be quite competitive this season, I believe, more so than previous years in the recent history in the AFC West. It's just been the Chiefs absolutely romping everybody. I don't think it'll be um, a huge change. I do think the Chiefs will still win the AFC West, but I think it'll be more competitive. So, which team you want to start with? You want to start with the Raiders?
Sure. We'll start with the Raiders.
All right. So the Raiders, they have made some improvements. Um, on the defensive side of the ball, they now have Chandler Jones opposite of Max Crosby. And then on the offensive side of the ball, they went and got Devontae Adams. So now you have Renfro and Adams to worry about, and we are going to have some young DBs. So this is all going to ride on Derek Carr. So, in my opinion, if we get to Derek Carr and we hit Derek Carr, if George Karlaftis can come out and be a menace there, or Frank Clark can actually, get back to form and be the shark, and we were to hit Derek Carr quite a bit, I don't have any problem saying that the Chiefs win maybe both matchups with the Raiders this year. I think that they'll probably give up a few big plays here and there to Renfro and Adams, but I think overall, as long as we put the pressure on Derek Carr, that's 2 W's for the Chiefs against the Raiders. I'm going to stick with that. How about you, Mike?
I think when it comes down to the AFC West, the way it's been built and the way it's going to be competitive, that's a total of 6 games. Yeah, 3 teams, 2 each. I think we'll finish above 500. I don't think we sweep the West. I don't think we go 6-0 against the West. It's going to be too difficult. I don't think we even sweep our full 3 games at home. I think one of them will come into Arrowhead and beat us, if not 2 of them. But I do believe we finish 1 game above 500 in the West. So with those 6 games, I have us going 4-2. So however you want to look at it, I don't know who where we want to put the losses at and where do we want to put the wins, but I'll put the Raiders at home. I'll give that a win. So you'll give that a win as well, right? The Raiders at home.
The Chiefs would win at home against. Yes. So I'm going to have the Raiders. Both Raiders games are going to be W's for the Chiefs, and then I'm going to have them splitting with Denver and with Los Angeles. And the reason being, Los Angeles is a good team. We all know that. It's always a tough game. I think we split with the Chargers. I don't think that's unreasonable. I don't think anybody would question that. Denver, I am going to see how that plays out as far as their new look and everything. But I think Denver gave us fits last year, even at the end of the season there. And that was with Drew Lock playing quarterback. So I think with Russell Wilson now and an improved defense, I'll give them one of the wins. I think that they're going to come out this year and be more competitive than they've been in the past few years. So I will give 1 game to Denver on that one as well. Probably the one in Mile High. I think that the Chargers, if anybody beats us at home in the division, it will be the Chargers. I could see that happening.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think if there's a team that we can sweep within the division, I do still think it's the Raiders.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. The Raiders are going to be better, but it still does fall on Derek Carr. Yeah. And it's like, I don't trust Carr as much as I trust, Justin Herbert or Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. It wouldn't surprise me this year if in year 3, Herbert don't come out and struggle a little bit. Like teams will start catching on to him a little bit, kind of like Mahomes did. He's going to have to slow down a little bit. There's going to be lulls in his game. He can just not catch fire from day 1 of his career and never look back. Like I just don't. I mean, if he does, he's the best quarterback to ever play. I mean, give him time, but he's going to have lulls, and this could be the year where he kind of takes a step back a little bit because he's played at a Superman level, and it's like, can he really hold up and play like that all the time? At some point, you're going to figure him out a little bit, and I think in the year 3, there's going to be enough film on Justin Herbert that like people's going to start figuring out the Chargers a little bit, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put him at a Superman level. He has done really good. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a great quarterback. But I think there is a little bit of the Burrow hype going on with Herbert as well. Like Herbert's had a lot of.
But let's be honest, I take Justin Herbert all day over Joe Burrow.
I would never, ever in a million years take Burrow over Herbert. But I'm just saying there's a little bit of that hype behind Herbert where people's coming out talking about how he's better than Mahomes. He's, maybe the best quarterback in the league and all that. Herbert's good, don't get me wrong. But no, like he needs to earn that first. let's just everybody slow the roll on that one. And yeah, I'm with you. I think Herbert could have a bit of a setback this year, but I think he'll still have a solid year. I'm going to give the split there. I think they take the one in Kansas City. We take the one in Los Angeles.
Okay, so we're 11 games in. I went ahead and counted the 3 away games for the Broncos, Chargers, Raiders on the thing. So we're now 8-3. We got a few games left to go. Let's hammer them
deal.
out. So
Good
we
deal.
are going to go out to the desert. We're going to go to Arizona and play the Cardinals and Kyler Murray and that whole debacle going on. So what do you think?
I would give this game to the Chiefs all day. I wouldn't even think twice about it. But there's also those handful of games during the season that the Chiefs lose to inferior competition. It's just almost a given with an Andy Reid team that we're probably going to slow up in the second half and let some team beat us. Um, I don't know if I want to give that to Arizona, though. I think I'll still go ahead and give KC the win in Arizona. I don't have the faith in Kyler Murray that a lot of people do. I think that he's overhyped as well. I think he's too small, and I also think he's a bit of a prima donna. I just don't see what do they got as far as the rest of their offense? D Hop, and then they got
Hey, but if it's early, D Hop could be suspended.
yeah, true. It just depends on when that game is, and then
Yeah.
also what do they got? James Conner running the ball, who's injury prone. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give that to the Chiefs. I think that they should win that one.
Yeah, I'll also give it to the Chiefs. So moving on, we've got your favorite team, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, okay. I'm giving this one to the Chiefs for the simple reason that there is no way this team goes out after what happened last year and loses to that team. Because I will say this right now, 100%, the Kansas City Chiefs last season were at least 2 to 3 scores better than the Cincinnati Bengals. They lost both games, yes, and of course it's because the Bengals are so great. No, it's because the Chiefs absolutely had meltdowns in both games. First of all, the first game was a bunch of trash by the officials. Literally couldn't get off the field because every third down that they did not convert, they threw a flag and gave it to them. The officials walked them into the end zone to win that regular season game. You're never going to get me to think otherwise. That was pathetic and an absolute joke. Now, the playoff game, Chiefs were once again way better team, way better. They were the superior team. They were dominating the game. And then they went to halftime and they come out and act like they've never seen a football before in their life. Patrick Mahomes lost all capability to even function as a human being. Like it was just bad. And I think it took that epic collapse by the Chiefs to lose that game. I do not give the credit to the Bengals there. I will give credit to the coaching staff for the adjustment on the defense and knowing that the Chiefs just absolutely refused to run the ball because that's basically what they did. Cincinnati's coaching staff was just like, hey, we're going to play 8 guys, in the secondary pretty much, have one, I think it was 7 in the secondary and one spy and then 3 up front. And they basically were like, look, we know Andy Reid's too stubborn to run the ball, so we're going to dare them to run the ball. And that's exactly what they did. And Andy Reid was too stubborn to run and the Chiefs lost the game with an epic meltdown. So yeah, enough of that. That's just sore subject. But I say that Chiefs come out this year and they probably put one on the Bengals. This one is in Cincinnati.
It is.
Good.
I bet it's probably flexed the prime time as well. I wouldn't be surprised.
That's awesome. And as much as I hate the Bengals fans and I hate their stadium and I hate their city, to be quite honest about it, I still might go to that one. It'd be good. I think that I think that the Chiefs handle them this time. I think that they've heard enough about the Cincinnati Bengals. And also, I do think that Joe Burrow is overrated. I don't think he's going to come out and have a great year or anything like that by any means. He does have some pretty good receivers, so he'll do decent. But the Bengals are going to take a big, giant step back and realize that, hey, last year you made the Super Bowl, and that's great. Congratulations. But you were a 10-7 team that caught a lot of luck and a lot of epic collapses to get there. So don't come out this year thinking that you're the cock of the walk in the AFC because I just don't have time for it. I'm going to give that win to the Chiefs.
Yeah, well, I do think Cincinnati got better. I think they got better compared to last year. As you said, they were still only 10-7. They wasn't a great team. I think that they're still around a 10 to 12 win team. Just kind of depends. If the Chiefs want to come out and put out one of those flat performances and we have to go to Cincinnati, they could beat us again. But I feel like Mahomes and Andy Reid cannot take a third straight loss to Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor or whatever their coach's name is.
Yeah, I
You
don't even know.
can't do it. You can't do it So I think they have to have a fire under them. That's got to be a game they circle and they say, look, we need to go out and this is a game that we have to dominate. So I'm going to give Andy and Patrick a little credit here, and I'm going to say they do that and they handle business in Cincinnati. So moving on, we go to Houston Texans. This is being rumored as our opening week game.
Yeah, W.
We will go to Houston. So yes, I believe that's a W, and I don't think that's even debatable,
Right.
unless we decide to not play. I feel like a lot of our losses is just always, hey, is Kansas City going to show up this week?
Has been, I mean, let me tell you, and it's not just because I'm a Chiefs fan, I'm being a homer, but the Kansas City Chiefs, the last, say, 3 NFL seasons have been far superior to 99% of the competition they face. And the most games they lose is because, like you said, they don't show up. It's like they are hungover from the night before and just don't give a crap. I mean, that's
Right.
pretty much what I'm seeing. So, yeah, but no,
Okay,
that's a W there. I think the hungover Chiefs could beat the Texans. So,
okay. So we go to Tom Brady and the Buccaneers in Tampa. And if there's one away game I want to go to, it would be this one, because I just want to look for an excuse to go back to Tampa. It's beautiful down there. So,
yeah. So, Tom Brady should be his last year. He just got that huge contract to call games. Did you see that? $365
it was a
million.
lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's more than he made in his entire football career. He's getting ready to make calling games, which is unreal. I think this will be his last season. I think this will be the last matchup you see of Mahomes and Brady. So, with that being said, I know Brady has been an absolute pain in our butt for the last however many years. But I am going to go ahead and say this is where the torch is passed. Mahomes beats Brady in the regular season. I don't think Tampa Bay gets to the Super Bowl or anything like that. I think this will be the last time you see Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes. I think Mahomes takes this one.
Okay, and I'm going to say the opposite. I'm going to say Brady has to play the game of his career because he wants to go out ahead of Patrick Mahomes. And so I would think, again, this is probably going to be flexed to prime time, and I think there's how Tom Brady is. If it gets to the final 2 minutes, those officials are going to step in. And
you got to watch some referees.
Yellow laundry everywhere. So
yeah,
I kind of in the thing that the officials want Brady to beat Mahomes in his last matchup. So I'm kind of on the Tampa Bay side on this one. So I guess we have to go to the pick of destiny. Where's Jack Black?
All right, go.
Here we go. Oh, it's a loss. It's a loss.
All right, I can deal, because
okay.
I mean, like you said, it could be a last minute thing, and then of course Tom Brady has to just chuck a ball up down the field somewhere, and they'll throw a flag and give them the pass interference. And,
yeah.
Okay,
so we have two more. Let's do the theoretically easier game first. We have to travel to Indianapolis to play the Colts, who have a new quarterback in town this year. So
yeah, so we'll be at this one. Love Lucas Oil Stadium. It's very, very nice, and it's not a bad drive from where we live at to go there. So we'll be at that game, and it's indoors, so you can't beat that. Perfect weather every time. Yeah. So I'm going to give the edge to Indy actually in this game. Kansas City tends to struggle at Lucas Oil. We've watched it several times. We did go to one game there where I think we pulled out the win with Nick Foles. I think Alex Smith actually got a concussion that game. They put Nick Foles in, and Foles had a Nick Foles type game.
Hey, and Nick Foles, baby.
Hey, yeah. So I just feel like the Chiefs, they tend to struggle in Lucas Oil for whatever reason. And also, I do feel like there have been some huge improvements in Indy. And the Chiefs, they're not going to win, I don't think they're going to win 13 games or anything like by any means. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one a loss to Indianapolis at Lucas Oil.
You know what? I'm actually going to agree with you. And the reason I do it is not because we're so big on the Colts.
No.
But actually, hey, the Colts have a chance to win their division this year. Let's just be honest.
They do.
And they're not a bad football team. I actually think getting rid of Carson Wentz is an upgrade. But the Colts do a lot with their defense and the running the ball and the clock control. And so we've already discussed this several times. Andy Reid sometimes gets a little too cute. Our offense sputters. And if you run into a ball control team at their home on turf where we don't necessarily have all the speedsters of Tyreeks that can take advantage of that turf, we may struggle a little bit, and we do tend to struggle a lot in Indy. I'm with you. And because this will be a game we'll be at, of course, the football gods will have 12-year-old
Hey,
kids screaming at us. So
no, well, that's the thing about it. I'm gonna, overall, out of every Chiefs game that I've ever been to, I think that I've got a pretty solid winning percentage.
we
But
do, but it's a lot better at Arrowhead than it is on away games.
that's true. That's
Somehow,
true.
considering we're stuck between Indy, Tennessee, and Cincinnati, and we just struggle on those. It's like
Right.
those are the three like laughable teams of football usually. So
Right. And I'm not, yeah, I'm with you. I'm not saying it's because we're that big on Indy. I mean, the Chiefs could come out there and absolutely romp them, and that would not surprise me, not one bit. But like we were saying, they struggle a little bit, Lucas Oil, just from history, not necessarily this team in particular or anything like that. But I just think I feel like that might be one of the games where the guys are hung over and don't care. It just kind of depends really on where these games fall at in the season. But if I had to guess, I'd say this might be an L for them. So
yep.
what's the next one?
Okay, last game on the docket, and I'm going to just go ahead and I think it's a loss. I really do. I think it's the same kind of thing. It's the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are always a good team. They always play us strong, and that's us traveling to the West Coast. And I don't know, just something tells me we struggle sometimes. We do, and I've got that as a loss.
I cannot do it. I just can't. Not with Trey Lance. Not with who they got running the ball now. Because
I'm,
they're gonna be run heavy.
yeah, but it's a system. So it don't matter who they have. I think it was Eli Mitchell, isn't it? And it doesn't matter who they got. They put up, and they play good defense. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking
You
this
know
could
what
be
I
a
see
week.
happening? I see a big game for Kels that week. I see a big game for Kels that week because I mean, if we're tired of people talking about George Kittle being better than Travis Kelsey, he's tired of people talking about George Kittle being better than Travis Kelsey. And I think maybe that's the game he goes out there and just absolutely just goes off, has a huge day, and Chiefs take a win. So I'm gonna go with a win on that one. You go with a loss. So we're gonna go to the pick of destiny for
Oh
the
yeah,
flip.
we'll flip it. We'll flip it. Oh, it says win.
Yes, it's with me. It said
So
Kels is
okay.
gonna win.
So with that being said, with that in the win column, our win column games are the Houston Texans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Los Angeles Rams, the Seattle Seahawks, the Titans, the Raiders twice, the Chargers, the Broncos, the Cards, and the Bengals. That gives us 12 wins. So essentially, we are saying we're going 12-5 with our losses coming to Buffalo, Denver once, LA Chargers once, the Bucks, and the Colts. That's our 5 losses that we are projecting. So 12-5, man. I think that's a little best case scenario to be honest with this
It
team,
is.
and it's sort of a rebuilding year, and with our strength of schedule, and I feel like the 11-6 was probably more. Maybe it wasn't 49ers, but maybe we don't win both games against the Raiders or something.
Well,
You
I
could do
mean,
something like that. So
it could happen. I highly doubt that the Chiefs will only lose the game to the bigger name teams like the Rams and the Bucks and uh they might actually win one of those games, which I was thinking they might beat the Bucks, so pick a destiny thought better. But yeah, we'll have to see how this one is lined up as far as when the schedule actually comes out. We'll see how early or late in the season it is. Because like I said earlier, guys, we have a lot of young talent on this team, especially the defensive side of the ball. You're going to have to be patient with them. The first 5 to 6 weeks are going to be a little sketchy. And I really don't want to see Chiefs Kingdom getting on Twitter and just, absolutely blowing up. This is the worst defense ever and they suck and yada yada. Like they do against, with every Spags defense, just have a complete meltdown. Give them time. Give them time to get together. And I think that this will be a good defense. I think it'll be a good team overall. I'm very excited about this season. I think the way the season is looking, the way that the offense is now, is kind of getting built. I'm looking at maybe an MVP season for Mahomes this year, like a big season. So I'm excited for it.
yeah, I think we have the potential to do great things considering the amount of hate our team's getting. And I think if you're in Kansas City, you follow Kansas City and you're a Chiefs fan, you realize the work Veach and the front office has put in and the way they're shaping this team. And honestly, let's be honest, with Tyreek Hill, he was a good playmaker on the outside, but it was literally Tyreek Hill. And then who did we have? We had Demarcus Robinson and Byron Pringle. I mean, come on, guys. Now you may not have this Tyreek Hill, but you're not too far down with your Juju or your MVS, and all these guys can come together. And with keeping Miko and Sky Moore, and I just believe the overall roster, the receiving room is now stronger. The offensive line got better. Our running backs as a group got stronger. Our defense obviously is going to look better. So I just believe it may not pay dividends this year. We're saying 12-5. It's very possible we go, only 10 wins, maybe 9 wins. It's very possible. We'll take a look at this closer to the season. Maybe even soon as the schedule gets released, maybe Monday we'll kind of run back through it really quick and see if we want to change anything. But our initial says, 12-5. That's our initial look. And honestly, I'd be thrilled with a 12-5 season.
It sounds like a very, very Andy Reid, win-loss ratio. So I'm good with it. I like it, especially being so early. So good stuff. And we will recap it when the schedule actually comes out. But yeah, moving on. Anything good going on in Mike's world lately?
No, this has been horrible. I've had the worst 3 days of my life. Like everything bad that's happened has happened. Me and you went to dinner tonight.
We did.
We go to this. I don't know if you guys have them in your area. Is Rafferty's like a worldwide chain? I don't know if that's something
It's a chain.
It's Rafferty's. They're not necessarily like McDonald's, but they're not like Jeff Ruby's. They're like somewhere in the middle, like a nice dining establishment.
Decent steakhouse.
I order and I get their amazing chicken sandwich, and I say, I would like a baked potato as a side, Steve. And what does she tell me? Oh, we have mac and cheese that you can upgrade for $3. And I'm like, I love mac and cheese.
Hey, if you don't know Mike, he's a mac and cheese connoisseur. I kind of am, but not you. But Q39.
The best mac and cheese in the world is Q39.
Absolutely.
And for some reason, when she said mac and cheese upgrade for $3, I said in my brain, bro, this is gonna be like Q39 mac and cheese.
I mean, when you're in a steakhouse that literally lives off of Hickory smoking everything on their menu, like you think the sides are going to, especially mac and cheese is going to be pretty good, right?
Right. Do you want to know what they brought me out? They brought me out a bowl full of 99-cent Kraft mac and cheese that you get out of the box at Walmart.
That was great. The look on your face was priceless.
What is this?
This was the look.
He literally asked the waitress if it was a joke. It was not. He ended up paying, like $4 or $5 for some Kraft mac and cheese. That's good stuff right there. I like it.
Yeah, that's the way it's been going for me lately, Steve.
We redeemed it though. We went to a dessert place called the Peach Cobbler. You got some cinnamon pralines and peach cobbler with some ice cream on top, and that stuff's delicious, man.
It was pretty good, but yeah, it's just been a rough week ever since I didn't get that bed in on that Derby horse. Like it's all went downhill from there. So I don't know.
Downhill from there.
Maybe that means I'm struggling. It's gonna turn it around for me.
Dude, it did start on Derby Day. But we played golf the next day and I actually beat you for once.
Yeah, we played golf. I looked like crap as usual.
See, I don't beat Mike very often at golf. I think I've beat him maybe 3 or 4 times ever. And I even won. You're just having a bad week, bro.
Yeah. I mean, you got me by a stroke, but let's be honest, it probably should have been like 5 strokes at least. I just kind of got lucky putting every once in a while. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's been a rough one, but hopefully I'll come out of it stronger.
Good deal.
And better.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you guys go to allchiefedup.com. We do have some articles on there. I noticed Mike just threw one up, kind of touching on our TikTok. We actually had a TikTok, had put a little bit of time into it, not as much as YouTube or the podcast, anything like that, but enough to be kind of annoyed that it got permanently banned for no reason. And I think read that story on allchiefedup.com. It's kind of entertaining. Also, do we really need James Bradbury? I cover that on an article on allchiefedup.com as well. And then there's still some other stories on there, and there will be more to come. So guys, Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. We love having you. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the bell, get the notifications. Also, listen to the podcast. Some of the stuff is podcast exclusive. Some of the stuff's YouTube exclusive. So make sure to check them all out. We stream on every major streaming platform every Monday and Friday. So yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. Stick with us. More to come and more content to come. So we enjoyed it. Any last words, Mike?
No, man, I'm good. You guys have a good one. I think it'll be Friday, right?
Yeah.
Friday. Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend, guys.
Thanks for tuning in. You've been listening to All Chiefed Up. Be sure to subscribe and follow on all social media at All Chiefed Up.